G'day guys, Josh here. Welcome to my strategy guide on Achates. And as you can see, we've got the same group once again with no support. Now with challenge rate Achates, I highly recommend that you have a support, okay? Because Achates has a lot of dot damage, a lot of debuffs that are very, very hard to avoid sometimes. And he does a lot of damage, and also he has the infamous shield mechanic, which we'll go through very, very shortly. But anyways, Achates is the last boss of tier 2, and it's a very difficult boss as well. And basically, he has multiple movesets that can do a lot of damage. At any time, you should never be in front of Achates, because he does this breath mechanic, and if you get hit by the breath mechanic, you turn into a torch storm, and you do lots of damage to your other teammates, and not to mention as well, you take a lot of damage. So every time Achates hits you with his flame breath, or any flame attacks, you get a debuff, okay? And I'm not sure if I'm going to be showing the debuff, but here you can see here that I got hit once, and now I've got Torch Storm doing 1.1k on me, which is really high. So at all times, you never, ever go in front of the boss, okay? If you're in front of the boss, immediately roll away. Just assume he's going to do Torch Breath every single time. Now, next mechanic, it's laser beams or laser cutters, and there's a distinct pattern that he does it in, and you just have to fill in the gaps. And sometimes you won't be able to do it, sometimes you'll be able to do it. If you're not close enough to fill in the gaps, but you can basically dodge out, so you don't take any damage. Now here's the crisscross as well, to stay in between squares, just keep alive. And as you can see here, I'm just basically running every single time that I got Torch Storm. Now the next debuff, this one is basically when it ends, there you put a fire patch on the ground. And as you can see here, I put the fire patch away from the boss. And you can see here, I got caught in the cutter beams, which is not ideal, and you take a lot of damage from that. Now, he does have a gimmick mechanic, which you'll do realize a bit later, which is basically, essentially there'll be 4 totems across all the corners. There may be only 1 totem, and you basically have to kill the totem, and it drops a blue, green, or yellow instrument. And as you can see here, I dodged the torch fire mechanic as well by staying behind the boss. And basically, Achates will have a shield that will correspond to this outlet. Now, also as well, with his attacks, he will drop stuff from the sky as well. You just need to avoid it, and that's pretty much the boss fight. Now, with pretty much that mechanic, sorry. Now, with the mechanics of the shield, you have to do it 3 to 4 times. I'm going to say it's probably 4 times. Once you do it 4 times, the boss's shield will break, and you'll stagger the boss. It's an auto stagger regardless. And we're getting into this phase right now. So you can see here, there's the totems. As you can see here is the one I'm damaging. They don't have much health at all. What you got to do is you got to pick up the object that goes down the ground. As you can see that person there, you get a new menu where it's Q to throw and R to drop, and also E to move quickly. And this person will throw the yellow object at Achates, okay? Now I'll go to another one as well. During this phase as well, is that Achates will randomly put these white swirls around the room. He has also multiple mechanics of the white swirls. There's one white swirl where he does 3 white swirls that follow you, and you just have to keep dodging it. There's one he just does randomly 2 white swirls expanding out from him, and you just have to go out, then in. And there's a few other things as well. Now make sure when you do this boss as well, make sure you bring dark grenades, and make sure you get the right shield, as you can see here. And be aware if someone does hit the shield, you can be knocked back, as you can see that weapon there. And you have to just break the shield 3 times, as you can see. It's a multi-layered shield, and once he goes down, he gets staggered for a bit, and you can just unleash everything into him. Now, if you do enough stagger as well, he'll also go into another staggered state like this, where he'd be basically gasping for air, and then you start the fight all over again. Now, this is one of the harder bosses, because if you fail the Achates check, he deals a fuck ton of damage to everyone, and it could be potentially a wipe. Given the fact that he already does enough damage with Torch Storm and a few other things, you know, this is just a top of the shit sandwich, basically, of it. And that's pretty much it for Achates. Like, you know, Achates, number one things you got to do is avoid the Torch Breath, get the right colors, always stay behind them, and with the cutter beams, either dodge or back out. Now, the items that you do want to have is a Dark Grenade, the best HP potion, and also other things as well. Actually, the last mechanic as well, as you guys just saw there as well, is the curse. Now, let's just go back here. So basically, 2 players will get listed with a curse, and they'll get listed with either the red buff or the green buff. We'll go through it again because we see it quite quickly here. Now, this is a rare mechanic that you do see a bit, and you want to pay attention to it as well. So let's stop there. Oh, no, that's not the debuff. It does a Deathblade debuff. But you'll see it come up really, really shortly. And basically, what you have to do is that both debuffs, the light and the red one, so the light blue one and the red one, must stack on each other until the debuff goes away. So you can see here, there's one person who's been selected with the light blue and selected with the dark red. You cannot Panacea this debuff away, and it does a lot of damage if you're not next to each other. Okay? If you're next to each other, it does 0 damage. If you're not next to each other, it does maximum damage. And you want to make sure that you stack on each other to get rid of the debuff, and also not to mention as well, save lives as well. As you can see here, it's already taken 2 of our lives. And you want to save those for Achates, because Achates is a very, very long fight as well. And that's the basic mechanics is if you get the debuff stacked together, never be in front of the boss, make sure you get the right colors to the right shield, and make sure you have the pots, dark grenades, and the Panacea as well, just in case. Because just in case you get torch fire, you can just get rid of it. Anyways, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, and subscribe.